Welcome. This is
Wait,
a first timer here, Stephen Pearcy, a first timer here on the Road to Rock. And wow, how the hell are you, dude?
I'm good. Real good. Things are way copacetic, man. Can't complain.
I'm glad to hear it. I wish you were here today in Kansas City, Stephen. I don't know if you grew up cheering for an NFL team in Southern California, but here in Kansas City, second Super Bowl title in 4 years. I guess the Midwest, we got to have something, right? Come on.
It's like a big deal. We got to have something. Wait till I get there.
We've had you here on so many occasions. I think the last time solo you were here at the Scene Rock Bar in 2016. So we're long overdue for the Stephen Pearcy band to get over here, man.
Yeah, well, soon enough. There's some groovy things happening. Just go to official stephenpearcy.com and it's all up there.
Yeah, it's all up there. So we don't we don't need to do the interview now because it's all there. You don't have to hear from me.
It's there. So
I mean,
see you later.
Oh, you're bringing the Sunset Strip experience all around the country for the last several years. How many dates do you typically play, in like a non-COVID year? Like 30 or 40 usually?
Yeah, I kind of try to go out and do, well, first I go where most bands fear to go. That's number one. And you got to embrace that audience that put you there in the first place. But they're not always in Los Angeles and the big cities, Kansas City, So probably about 30, 40 maybe. I try to pick places I haven't been or who are real nice. And we go back and fucking rat and roll.
Oh, absolutely. And you just played a couple shows with Vince Neil, correct? How did those go?
Yeah, those are great. It's always cool. It's always cool to put us together and bring back that 1980s Sunset Strip experience. And that's what we're embracing here, which we call the Top Fuel Compound, is while I'm still here doing what I do, and I'm going to, give some integrity to the Rat name legacy and go out and play the songs that I wrote and co-wrote and tell the world. And hooking up with Vince, it's like going back to the Sunset Strip, live wire. You think you're tough, let's go. It's way cool. So we have a few more dates planned.
Do you feel like here, kind of in the wake of the last go around of Rat here and say the last 4 years, that your name and your bookings continue to get stronger and to be on, better venues, bigger, cooler festivals? You and Tom Kiefer have done a great job of this, kind of building your brand name aside from the Cinderella or Rat name. You're getting some really good stuff. I saw you at Rocklahoma a couple years ago. Big shows. You just played a big one in Houston, hosted by Eddie Trunk. I mean, the Stephen Pearcy name has become a brand unto itself, to where it's almost like, I don't know if I need the hassle of the other stuff, right?
Well, yeah, and it took a lot of work, I mean, I always had plans, even back in 91, when you've kind of had your fill of something. I personally like to do something else. I like writing with other people. So it kind of started then in 92 with Arcade. And then just snowballed in 1995. I figured, why don't I just create my own independent label and do what I want to do when I want to do it. And it's gone, very well so far.
Well, and you're, at least as of what I read recently, you're getting ready to release a new collection of music, Legacy, early 2023. Hey, it's 2023. So maybe we'll be hearing something from Golden Robot Records coming up here.
Yeah, soon enough. Right. Actually, Friday, I go back in to tighten up Legacy. And my lead guitarist, Eric Ferrantino's co-writer on a couple of the last solo records. Been with me forever. We've had this EP put together during the COVID days, and we didn't stop writing or recording. Everybody kind of ran scared. Well, we embraced that shit and went for it, went in the studio, wrote songs. And if I had a wacky idea, I'd just call Matt MT Studios and just go down there and lay it down. but we have this EP coming out, and the first single is going to blow people away. It's so fucking cool. Way left field, and a couple other little things I'm doing, but the solo record, number 6, still needs to come out. And I don't know how many songs we have by now, because we started writing that a few years ago. And I'm not one to take this much time during solo records, just for the fact that I like to write, and I don't like to throw shit out there. I mean, I got to tell you, Legacy, when you get a hold of this, there's some stuff there it's quite amazing. I mean, the last song Warren and I wrote, not many people have heard it. I want it out there, and every right to put it out. And so there's stuff on there that's really cool. Some live Rat stuff, early days, 82, before the original guys, Joey Chris on bass, who co-wrote Wanted Man. So it's chock full of cool stuff. So
that's going to be freaking awesome. Can't wait for that. You've always been someone that kind of gets out in the forefront. You do a lot of solo material, you release good albums, and you also did something interesting that I think should be more explored more in the business aspect of music. In 2008, you re-recorded I'm Insane for the Wrestler soundtrack. And talk about why more bands don't do stuff like this, because I think that that's a great way to kind of gain back control of your hit songs and have it re-recorded in a different way. Why don't more bands do that?
Well, I think it's almost become the norm now for those who want to take that on. There's bands re-recording their full records. Yeah. And there's a couple advantages to that. Number one, you get paid twice on mechanicals, kids, so pay attention. And, the same with the publishing. If you want to stimulate your catalog, there's nothing wrong with re-recordings. And number 3, fortunately and unfortunately, if these movie people or whoever want the real deal, they'll go get it. They'll just go to, bypass you and just go straight to Harry Fox or somebody, or to the label, and say, I want the original Round and Round. Or, for example, we'll re-record Round and Round like we did for Geico.
Right.
And like I've done many times, not just to do it, I do it for a reason. Even way back. But it's pretty much kind of norm now, re-recording your stuff. And there's nothing wrong with it. All it does is if you're a co-writer on any song, you have every right to do that as an artist. And I think if you want to give it a twist, a new sound, I'm getting ready to do this. We got a lot of groovy stuff going on here. A version of, I believe it's Lay It Down, and I call it the Mondo Phonics mix. And it's got this trippy club groove, but there's going to be a very well-known rapper on this song. And I would love to take it back to the Run DMC Aerosmith thing. And I had no intentions for it to be that. I just approached it and wanted to do it for a long time. Let me try to put this with that. I think it'll be a perfect fit. Went into the studio, recorded the song a totally different way, with scratch, this, that, just to have fun, right? Well, it's been brewing, and finally I had the opportunity to address it seriously and say, let's get somebody really well known and get on this thing just for shits, and stir up the pot. And it wouldn't be the first time, because KRS-One rapped over Round and Round a few years back. So, hey, anything goes. In my world, anything goes.
I love it.
People fear doing things that are so easy to do. And it's not a matter of flopping, or having huge success. It doesn't matter. We just do it, and hopefully something good comes out of it, and have a good time. Embrace that shit while it's here. Look, there's a lot of us falling.
Too many.
Fall over left and right. There's only so many real 80s guys, around. And like you said, Tom Kiefer. Well, Tom Kiefer probably hears those Cinderella songs another way, like me, and we want to address it and perform it. And I mean, there's, but nothing but respect, because look, he's the voice, he's the writer guy, and it's just what some of us do. I mean, hey, I'm just embracing the shit, and especially this year with the 1980s Sunset Strip experience.
Yeah.
It's gonna turn into this whole new thing, which we're very excited about.
Well, you brought it back to the Sunset Strip just, about a month ago, New Year's Eve at the Whiskey A Go-Go, which I'm told, Stephen, now we don't want to alert any local fire marshals or put any, police onto this case just yet, but it was somewhat oversold at the Whiskey, and it was a rocking time. And what better place to see you and in that environment? I mean, you talk about a throwback. Every time I see you or LA Guns or any of those bands in that venue, man, it's just over for me. It's amazing. That must have been a great show.
And I got to tell you, thank you. It's the Whiskey to us is our old back. I mean, it's our backyard, yeah. Motley, Rat, Wasp, you name it. Everybody's been there and done that. And I love going back there because it just has this environment, besides way cool people I've known for years. Since 82 when we started playing there. So it's always a great fucking time going there. It's like, hey, he's home, and I'm like, oh, I'm home, I mean, you just get in there and do your thing, lay it down, and just have a good time. Matter of fact, we might be announcing a surprise show there. So, you hit on something very interesting.
You also played a show in Vegas, and I was in Vegas a couple weeks ago to see Bryan Adams, right? Okay, don't judge, Stephen. But that very night, you and George Lynch.
I would love, dude, not to interrupt you, but I would love to see Bryan Adams. Are you kidding me?
Well, he was playing the same night as you did at Counts Vamped a couple weeks ago. And so I missed it. George Lynch was there. You guys played, a bunch of guys were up there that night, and it was a little more economically friendly, shall we say, than the Bryan Adams show.
Yeah, well, yeah, that was a good gig. It was Chris Angel was out there, a bunch of friends, this wrestler character. But I got to tell you, I love those gigs where you get like George. I totally nothing but respect for George.
Sure.
And I keep telling him, we got to write together. We got to write an original song. I'm one of those guys who likes to write. Whatever comes out of it, comes out of it. At least you can say, well, we've co-written a song together. I mean, I've written with plenty of people, mega professional to my peers. And you never know what's going to happen. So we'll see. But that was an amazing gig. Yeah, the Vegas gig was way cool. It was... that was a Croker gig, I believe. It ended up being like a private thing for a friend of our, for Ronnie, a friend of ours, if I got his name correct. And he just said, let's just open the doors. And that's what he did at the last minute. What was supposed to be a private gig turned into a, come on down.
Probably another fire marshal incident. But I got to ask you, Stephen, is you kind of made headlines just a few days ago, and we were talking about it beforehand. So, I feel like it's okay to bring it up and ask you. And you kind of were critical of some bands using backup tapes, and Motley Crue, of course, restarted their world tour again with John 5 on guitar, which I love John 5. But it was kind of getting slandered around. Just kind of give your side of the story and kind of what you were maybe expand on what you were thinking in that situation.
Yeah, well, look, first of all, it's not the first time, Milli Vanilli made that people aware of that ages ago when nobody really did, right? But I mean, now it's going to be the word of the day, norm. It's almost normal now, but I can't put down any of my peers for doing it because whatever works for them, you might have something going down on stage and you gotta have it or something. And that was my sentiment on that. He asked me, what do you think about Motley using tapes? And I'm like, well, it's well known now. So it's not like I said something out of context or needs defending. To each his own. Me personally, I'm old school. When Robin and I put the basics of Rat together, it was to be just a live, fun, hard rock band, and none of this and none of that. And that's where it sits, you know. That's just my sentiments. But I mean, if somebody uses them, great. If it enhances their trip, and you know, you got so much going on, you need the shit. But to each his own, man. No disrespect at all. It's just some people do and some people don't. I don't.
Well, as these world tours are happening and you see the stadium tour last year finally occurred, I think back and I remember when Joan Jett was on stage, and Steve and I love Joan. She's great, but I keep thinking about Rat, and I keep thinking about your guys' place in the annals of rock history. And I know you guys are not exactly fluid currently, but when that offer, Rat could have been in that slot is my point. I mean, when you got Poison, Def Leppard, Motley Crue, Rat has a place there, right?
It's a no-brainer. It's called good business. You know,
that's what I'm getting at.
That's like, you know, embracing this 1980 Sunset Strip experience we are going to put out there. But unfortunately in our scenario, Rat,
right.
As far as the band, I'm not in control of some of the other guys' lives and
of course
what they want to do. And they've been there, done that. It's not even a financial thing. There's always plus and minuses to, you know, the crime, and the crime could be putting us out there and not having it work, you know, but I've put it out there. So let's put the nail in the coffin right now.
Sure. Yeah.
Been out there doing what I started, and that's I created this band, Mickey Rat, turned into Rat. But honestly, without Robin, you know, we've tried to fill shoes, and it's all good. You get away with it. But look, I would rather be in, you know, I'd rather put rap music out there with me than a band you're calling Rat. This won't come back and bite me in the ass either, because I've put it out there. I've asked the other guys, as did one of the original members, let's get together, try to figure this out and do some business. And because that's what it is. And if somebody doesn't, they don't. Like Warren, people ask me, you know, what's Warren doing? What's Warren? Well, fuck, I don't know. Give me a call, dude. You know, let's chit chat. What are you doing? We can write songs all day long, Warren and I. We can put a record out in fucking a week, you know. So we'll see. So right now, this is where it's going to sit. And you're correct. Rat would have been perfect. But hey, I'm the representative. I am the, you know, I created the monster. So here it is. I ain't going to be doing this, or I will not be putting myself, you know, through these extensive tours and all these things. It's winding down, you know, as some of us want to do. That's why there's no Rat. Some of us are content, probably just sit around the pool and, you know, go golf or do nothing and say they're doing everything. So me, actions speak louder than words, you know. Yeah. So there it is, Rat and Roll.
And you're out there, like I said, Stephen, always bringing it to Rat and Roll, whether it be on a big stage like Rocklahoma, whether it be in some of the great venues around the country. You do it. And I got to ask you about this business venture, because I'm interested in this. It's called, is it VAMI? VAMI?
VAMI, yeah.
VAMI. Yeah, tell us about that. Limitless Reality Studio.
Yes, and that is something that we're taking time with. Christy Adair, my business partner in this venture.
And your Valentine as well, by the way.
Oh, yes, of course. He is loved. I've had this idea years ago. It just didn't happen overnight. People have done things similar, but nowhere close, even close to what we can present, especially if you have, you know, products. You have your tequilas, you have your records, you have your this. Well, you can reach 250,000 people out there in the metaverse world, and you can have a live audience at the same time. You'd have to really go there and check on it. It's VAMIEE.com. And some people get it right away. They go, oh, this is good. Because I believe it's a great thing. Nobody's, like I say, people have touched near, but not as close as this. It's not going to happen. And that's because of the facility is such a state-of-the-art thing. It has nothing to do with green screen. Believe me, I can reach out and literally grab you with me, you know, and you can sit right here and chit chat, and you could be in Alaska, you know, and I can put you in a seat next to me right here and play you a little acoustic song. You know?
I love
it's
this.
crazy what can go down there, you know. So it's going to take time. And I'm glad you brought it up, because you probably went, oh, this is interesting. Okay. Yeah. So instead of selling booze and stuff like that, I do these kind of ventures. I mean, we do sell the coffee now, kids, with Riders and Rockers Coffee. But it's quite a venture, and we're taking our time. It's like we're not in a rush to shove this down anybody's throat, because eventually they're going to go, God, can we check this out? It sounds really fucking cool. And yes, it can make you a lot of money. It's what you put in is what you put out. So,
man, I love it. You're like a Renaissance man, Stephen. Who would have ever thought it? You're like David Ellison or something. He does like everything. It would do product launches, live concerts, award shows, press conferences, all of that, to be able to bring that all together into one place. And I know this as a member of the media. I just spent a week at Super Bowl Radio Row and doing all that stuff in Phoenix.
Oh, nice.
Like, it's just like overwhelming. And there's times where it'd be nice to be able to just have a space where you could get into and do that easier. Now we got Zoom. We're doing this on Zoom right now, but this is so much bigger than just something like Zoom, obviously.
Oh my God. Yeah. I mean, if you only knew, some people don't get it. They look at it. You know, I approached Sammy on it, and I will again, because it would be perfect for somebody who, you know, who has product and this and that, and still wants to go out. It's bringing the tour to you. You don't have to go out there and tour. If you can reach 250,000 people in one night and still have a live audience in the metaverse world, to where I can shake your hand or put you in my house, that's crazy shit. And, you know, eventually people, welcome to the future, you know.
Absolutely. And God bless it. I got to ask you about kind of the general health of the band. I mean, I know it was, this last summer, Eric had some issues, and but I've also heard that you are doing so much better and are cancer free after what you went through. I watched the documentary that you had on ASY TV, Nothing to Lose. Kind of brought that up. You and Eric kind of both had some health things, and Eric seems like he's up and rocking, so he's doing much better, obviously, too. And he's been with you for so long that it's just good to see.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, Eric's doing better. Him kicking back on the beach is the best thing for him, because he works his ass off. I mean, you know, at any time, any minute, I can go, I need this kind of a song. I'll have it in a matter of hours or the next day. I mean, our working relationship is great. My health, I'm under a maintenance program, and it's every 3 months. And thank God that, you know, I did, you know, catch my cancer early, and it wasn't any heavy degree. You know, I just lost the original drummer, Mickey Rath, through stomach cancer. And it's like, you know, everybody's dropping left and right. And it's like, you know, well, I'm here right now. Like I say, I'll be doing this for a bit. I don't know about, you know, how, that's what's good about for me. Yeah. You know, I can reach all these people if I want, but I don't have to go out there and do, you know, this crazy ass road work. But I do love the live audience still. Sure. I still have a good time. I mean, I don't know what people think, like, but me, I have a great time when I'm out there. There's no reason to not, to be positive and excited about being on a stage, having fun, yelling at people, you know, and having a good time, you know.
Yeah, I had a good time with you one time here, Stephen. And the quick story is you usually do like a Judas Priest song or two in your set. And like I you know, it was like Labor Day weekend. I'd had quite a few drinks that day. You threw the microphone in my face to sing like the second verse of Free Will Burning, and I just blanked. And I'll never forgive myself. I'm like, Fast and Furious. God, that's the first verse. Okay, I'm out. Nope, I'm too much.
Well, I gotta tell you, I have those same problems sometimes just singing my own shit, dude, after 40 something years. I mean, especially when you have a catalog of, I just try to write the best songs I can, but there are some songs I really would love to record. So we have some good stuff in the works coming. We have, matter of fact, we're calling extensive rehearsals before the next shows because, I mean, I've added "I Want a Woman" to the set from Rat. I've added a bunch of other songs that we haven't played in years. The band Rat hasn't even played in years, and these were songs that opened up our arena tours. So I'm going back to the Sunset Strip experience, my friend, and that's what's happening.
OfficialStephenPearcy.com. Last thing, Stephen, before we cut you loose, you know, when we get to this point, this is a badge of honor. When you get here and we start celebrating anniversaries, this year we celebrate the 35th anniversary of Reach for the Sky. I'm just curious as to where that album for you kind of ranks in the Rat catalog. And of course, it was after Dancing Undercover, before Detonator. And to me, City to City, I Want a Woman, Way Cool Jr., Don't Bite the Hand That Feeds, so many great tracks. But where does Reach for the Sky rank for you 35 years later?
Wow. Reach for the Sky. I actually like that record. I had a interesting time creating the album art.
Yeah.
And actually, I don't think there was vinyl ever released with the original cover. There's not a strip over the lady's boob.
Right.
And I think, I don't know what happened there, but I love that record. Musically, it was different. I mean, Warren was, coming up with these chops and, way cool, this and that. City to City actually goes back to Mickey Rat, 1979, dude.
Yeah.
So how that got in there. But it was a fun record. It did well, and the tour was groovy. Things are winding down. I believe who produced that? That
Beau
was
Hill.
Beau Hill. Yeah, Beau Hill was brought back into that, and the story is out there, and Beau will even explain it, I'm sure.
I think it was supposed to be Mike Stone.
Well, we did. We went in with Mike Stone, thinking Zeppelin, Stones, we get these great basic tracks and we'd see what would happen. But even me, no disrespect to Stone, I mean, I'd go in there and go, what are we doing? And usually I'm used to feedback. My producer going, try this, try that, do this, do this 100 times. There wasn't much going on there. And I was getting a little concerned. And it was an interesting time for us. Things were about to implode. So we did the best we could, as we always did. And that's probably why we're in this situation now,
Exactly. I also love Nobody Rides for Free. That was like one of the last songs you did on the Point Break soundtrack. That's still one of my favorite Rat songs. So maybe that gets busted out in a Stephen Pearcy show coming up sometime soon too, my friend.
Well, I don't want to give things away, but we're going to be in rehearsals for a good reason. And I'll tell you, I want to do the video hits. We've done like 16. I just want to play the whole video list. So tell me what you think, kids.
If it means anything, this random guy from Kansas City says, yes, absolutely do it. Stephen Pearcy, thank you so much for being on the road to rock. It has been a true honor. Tell the lovely Christy, thank you so much for all her help and everything that she does to help us and incorporate this and set it up. Thank you so much. And we'll see you out there in the stratosphere this spring or summer, my man.
You got it, man. OfficialStephenPearcy.com, and fuck yes.
Thank you, sir.